Okay, hey guys, in this part of the section, we're going to be talking about while loops. Now, while loops are like the cousin of for loops, or like the sort of like the friend or like a partner or something like that. They do the exact same thing and they have a common goal, you know. So here things are written differently to for loops. We first begin with the kind of like the initial value. So we start, I'm going to call it counter, and I'll set it equal to 0. And then we write this keyword while, and then in here we get the evaluation. So while counter is less than 20, we're going to do the same program. While counter is less than 20, we want to have our execution statement. So maybe we can say hello in here, and then down here, right below everything else, we increment counter. So it's going to have like an initial value. This is where we begin. Just gonna write it down here, beginning, and then here we have the evaluation. So we're checking whether or not this particular variable is less than 20, and then we execute. Here we have the execution, and then here we increment. Is it incrementation? I don't want to say things I don't know, but anyway, we increment. So as you can see, beginning or the initial stage, just like this, beginning or initial, evaluation or checking or anything, Boolean or evaluation. And then we have the execution, and we have the incrementing here, or incrementation, I think so. Is that a word? I don't know. Anyway, we're going to run this, and we're gonna get this hello 20 times. Now, just to check if that's what's really happening, I'm going to concatenate this with counter, and I'm going to add a space here. Wait for it. So it counts up until 19 and starts at 0. So that means that it's actually printing out hello 20 times. We can also check if counter is less than or equal to 20, and we can begin this at 1. We can begin this at 0 as well if we want. It depends where we want to begin. And there we go. We get hello 1 up until hello 20. And another thing I wanted to show you is that people tend to use while loops when they don't know when the value will end. So you have to, for loops, it's practical to use them when you know that you want to end at a certain value when you're doing your loop. But in a while loop, it's practical to use a loop when you don't know when the value will end. So I'm going to create a scanner here to show you an example. Scanner SCN. By the way, guys, don't forget that you can name your object anything you want. I just choose to name it SCN each and every time we're working with it, because that's what my lecturer got me used to. So we put system.in inside here. And then down here, what we want to do is say scn dot, or we want to ask the user to enter a name, for example, or like a word, sorry. Enter a word. And then down here, we're going to say int, sorry, not int, string word is equal to new. Oh, why am I saying new? Next line. Right? Now, this will ask the user to enter a word. And then what we want to do down here, I'm just going to remove all of these statements here. What we want to do is, instead of checking if counter is less than or equal to 20, what we want to do is while we check if while word is, or like while word is not equal to a certain value. So we want to check if this is not true. So you want to check if while word is not equal to x, just like this. And then what we want to do is keep on printing out a word while it's not equal to this value down here. And then we're going to increment counter. But what am I doing? No, we don't need a counter here. Sorry. So in this instance, we don't need a counter because we're not trying to get to an end value here. Instead, what we can do is keep on asking the person to enter a word each and every time that is executed. So I'm just going to copy this and I'm going to paste it down here. And then instead of doing this, so what we're doing is checking if word is not equal to x, and if that is true, we're going to keep on asking that person to enter a word, and then we're going to take that word, we're going to keep on asking them, right? And then that word, we're going to print it out each and every time. So let's run this. I'm going to say John this time, and then John again. Now it outputs. At first it didn't output. Why? Because it asks and then it asks again without outputting anything. So I'm not going to, okay, let me just copy this statement and I'm gonna paste it here. So stop and rerun this. Now it's gonna print it out first before it evaluates John. Now it prints out John, and then it evaluates, and then it asks again, please enter a word. So we're gonna enter John, 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 and when we hit X, it breaks out of the loop, just like that. And it has to be a capital X because here we wrote a capital X. If you write a small x, just gonna repeat this. Let's say John. Now, if I write a small x, it's not gonna work. It has to be a capital X. So what we want to do here, in order to make this disregard whether it's a small x or big X, we're gonna say equals ignore case. I think I've addressed this before, definitely. So now it doesn't matter whether the X is small or big, it's going to break out of the loop. And this is the type of things that while loops are typically used for. I mean, you can do this with a for loop also, I think. Yeah, I think you can. Yeah, I think you can. Definitely you can. Anything you can do with a while loop, you can do with a for loop. But people like working with while loops when you don't know when you want to terminate the loop. So I hope you guys understood that. I hope it wasn't too difficult for you to grasp, but we'll work on it more, and the more we work on it, you're gonna understand it.